Go to the football field now. The huddle broke at Browns rookie mini camp for the first time Friday in Ohio with, of course, all eyes on Shedeur Sanders. But the Browns have two rookie QBs in their room as they also selected Dillon Gabriel in the third round. Kevin Stefanski has called it an open competition in Cleveland. However, should be noted, Gabriel took the first snap of team drills in minicamp, not Sanders. You know who's there for it? NFL reporter Kimberly A. Martin joins us now from outside of the Browns practice facility. And K. Martin, I know you were at camp yesterday. What more can you tell us about how Shedeur looked and what they were saying about him in his first day at camp?
Yeah, listen, Shay, a lot is being thrown at Shedeur Sanders, as is the case with all of these rookies who are trying to get up to speed on this playbook. And here's one thing that stood out yesterday after the first day of practice. You know, typically on day one, coaches will see those quote-unquote rookie jitters. But both Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel showcased flashes of that same poise and that passing ability that we saw in their college careers. And that was a good sign. Now, as you said, it's still early. It's still day one. But, in practice, they had a longer 7-on-7 period to accommodate the two quarterbacks. And as you noted, Dillon Gabriel did take the first reps of the team period. And I can tell you, as we were waiting for Stefanski, we saw Shedeur Sanders. He was one of the last players to leave the field. He stayed late to kind of throw passes to a rookie tryout. So, again, these are just the first early days of rookie minicamp.
Just starting to get to work, right? But Sanders is one of four quarterbacks currently on the roster. And so this is going to continue to be a thing, Kimberly. So what did Kevin Stefanski have to say about this entire quarterback situation?
I'm glad that we are at least mentioning Dillon Gabriel because he is another quarterback that is here and a lot of attention on Shedeur. But, Kevin Stefanski was asked pointedly, tell us about how did you decide that Dillon should get the first reps? And typical Kevin Stefanski fashion, he said, I wouldn't read into that. I think Stefanski's main point yesterday was this competition is ongoing and rookie minicamp is part instruction, part competition. But there's a lot of work that has to be done. These guys have to take what they're learning in the meeting room, bring it out onto the field. So, Shay, as much as we want to know who is going to be the Browns quarterback this season, we are so many months away from that, and this is just the first step. So let's not read into it, but we're going to be watching today because we're going to hear from these quarterbacks a little later.
Of course, we're going to read into it. That's what we do here at ESPN. And I'm over here talking about four quarterbacks in the QB room. I mean, we should add five. Deshaun Watson is still in that quarterback room as well, although it's very unlikely we see him on the field. He still will be a part, I will assume, meetings and whatnot. Kmart, I am sure I will talk to you a lot over the next couple of days and weeks. Thanks, Kmart. Appreciate you.
Good. Let's move on. NFL rookies reporting across the league. In the case of the Cleveland Browns, they drafted a couple of them at quarterback. Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel both taking reps during each portion of the drills, alternating throws on individual drills with different groups in both 11-on-11 and 7-on-7 periods. And the idea, say the Browns throughout minicamp, is to split reps between the two. Kevin Stefanski describing both quarterbacks as advertised. As senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler joins us now, he said that this Cleveland quarterbacks competition is going to be all-encompassing evaluation, and obviously they have Kenny Pickett there, they have Joe Flacco as well. What are you hearing about the two rookies, though, at first glance?
Yeah, so they're going to keep four quarterbacks, Hannah, throughout the offseason leading into training camp. So Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders will have plenty of opportunities to make their impression and to try to make the team. That's really their first goal. They have to do that because the Browns are probably going to keep at a max 3 quarterbacks. Somebody's going to be the odd man out. So Sanders has been as advertised as far as what the Browns liked in the pre-draft process, accuracy, decision-making. They want to see him build on that. But the tricky part for him is they're really high on Gabriel. They essentially overdrafted him in the third round just to ensure that they got him. I was told the Browns are really surprised that the media never picked up pre-draft very much on how high they were in Gabriel with their private workouts with him, with bringing him in for a top 30 visit. So he's still in a pretty good position right here, and we'll see. Now, I'm talking to people around the league. They wouldn't be surprised if the Browns try to swing a trade eventually with one of these four quarterbacks. They look at that position as currency, as value. So if somebody plays well in the preseason, maybe they'll be in a new uniform.
Yeah, it's going to be really fascinating to see. You know what they say when you have multiple quarterbacks, that you have none. I know, but they do. They have a ton. All right, let's talk about another rookie quarterback who we got our first eyes on, and that would be that number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, and the Titans. What are you hearing so far about Ward?
Well, Hannah, what's funny is he knows the playbook really well because he figured he was going to Tennessee. I was told he did a bang-up job in the pre-draft interviews and process with Tennessee going through the offensive install. It was a cut above all the other quarterbacks that they met with. So because of that, he comes in a good position. Really, the Titans want to see him just build chemistry and get to know his new receivers. He has a tight end and 2 wide receivers that were picked in the 4th round that he's working with this weekend. So they're trying to build something there. And you got the Giants. Jackson Dart, I'm heard he threw the ball well yesterday. It's only 1 day of rookie minicamp, but Brian Daboll is really excited about this guy. More excited about him than really any other quarterback since Josh Allen that he's worked with. And so really it's a matter of when he plays. The Giants do feel like they have an infrastructure in place with a good defense with Russell Wilson to win games and help him just develop behind the scenes. But we know if they do lose some games, there's going to be pressure to play him. Then you got the Jaguars' first look at Travis Hunter. So I was told day 1 of rookie minicamp, he was mostly offense, was not doing a lot of defensive stuff. That could change this weekend where they implement him on both sides of the field. The plan really is for him to major in offense, minor in defense. Maybe eventually he creates like a 3rd down nickel package role on defense. Great comp I've got from multiple people in the league on Hunter, the Diggs brothers. He is essentially both Diggs brothers, Stephon and Trevon. So they get a little double dip there.
I like that 2-for-1 deal. And listen, their GM said he has a very bold vision for what he wants to accomplish. He said they are all in, and he made it clear he's got to play both ways. Here on SportsCenter, Saints quarterback Derek Carr has retired. As senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler joins us now. He had revealed that he had actually injured his shoulder late in last season, was contemplating surgery. So how did he come to this decision?
Yeah, Hannah, really for the last 5 to 6 weeks, the Saints and Derek Carr have been trying to figure out what's best and how to proceed with this shoulder issue, which tests revealed, as the Saints just said, a labral tear and degenerative damage to his rotator cuff, potentially. So these are major issues. You imagine trying to throw on that. So really before then, the feeling was like, hey, we restructured his contract. We can move forward with Derek Carr, even though there was some talk about a potential trade at one point. That never happened. So it seemed at one point in the offseason he was going to be the quarterback in 2025. So really when he started throwing again, then he felt the issue, talked to the Saints, reported it. They tried to shake this out. You know, I think the Saints in a perfect world hoped that he could maybe rehab to health. It just seems like that was not in the cards. So after 11 seasons, he is retired.
Wow. Big picture, looking at his career, how would you describe his legacy?
You know, his legacy is probably underrated in a lot of ways. You know, I've actually recently talked to people with the Raiders and with the Saints, you know, because I was trying to get a grasp of his career because of all the turmoil around what was going on with the Saints and the uncertainty here, which eventually resulted in this. And the feeling was he constantly had different head coaches. He constantly had different coordinators. We saw again, last year he was close with Clint Kubiak, his offensive coordinator. Now Kubiak leaves, Kellen Moore in. He always was dealing with constant change. And really he's viewed as a very talented quarterback, a very good quarterback, maybe not a breakthrough quarterback that got you over the hump. And I think the Raiders felt that, like, hey, we gave it a run. It just didn't work overall in the end. But very productive player, always a consummate professional. And played, you know, he was a tough guy. He played through injuries. It took this kind of serious injury to eventually knock him out, but most every year he was 15, 16 games in.
Yeah, and through very difficult times with the Raiders, he often had to speak on behalf of the organization and handled that really well. I just want to say they have 3 guys now, right? So they draft Tyler Shuck, and the second round they have Spencer Rattler. They have Jake Haener. Who's the next quarterback of the Saints? What's it looking like?
Well, Shuck, with his experience, played a lot of years in college. He's older, in his mid-20s. He was coveted by a lot of teams in the draft, picked 40th overall. He's got higher billing than, say, Spencer Rattler, who right now would be the backup or maybe the 1A, but he was a 5th-round pick. Some people in the building are high on Rattler as well, so they're going to play this out. It's been interesting, the existence in the Saints quarterback room and offensive rooms lately, because they thought maybe Derek Carr could play, but they really were just talking to him more as a person than they were like game planning. So Carr really hasn't been a part of a lot of the football talks of late. So it's been like young guys in a quarterback room trying to mold that room together, see what they can do. And Tyler Shuck, they're really high on him. Assuming things go well in the next 3 or 4 months, there's no reason why he can't see the field in 2025 because of the pedigree and the experience he already comes in with.
I mean, not see the field. What about, is this a guy that it's thought could start from week 1?
They hope so. I mean, the Saints did a ton of work on quarterbacks in the draft. They looked hard at Jackson Dart, but felt like number 9 overall would be a little high for them where they were picking in the 1st round. So early 2nd round, they targeted.
Of course, he starts rookie camp today. Will Howard out of Ohio State. We'll see what he brings to the table. Draft him in the 6th round, and right now they continue to talk about Mason Rudolph being in pole position to be the starter there, but Will Howard part of this group as well. Now, with George Pickens' departure to Dallas, here's what the Steelers' wide receiver room looks like. Here's who Howard, Mason Rudolph, maybe Aaron Rodgers is going to be thrown to. Robert Woods, DK Metcalf, the veterans, but they're both in their 1st season with Pittsburgh. And the most career receiving yards for